Well, as you all know, the Avatar movie leaked, the Avatar Aang movie, and I have mixed feelings on it, and I've been pondering around what I wanted to say, and I think I finally got like the gist in my head down. First of all, when the movie opens, we're in a dream, and most of the things in this movie I called out as soon as it was basically possible to call it out. Like I knew the staff was gonna break. I knew that this was a dream gonna turn into a nightmare. It was just a lot of things. Like I knew a lot of the things that were gonna happen. I knew Tago was a bad guy as soon as I saw him, fucking still frozen in the ice. Like all of it. I fucking knew all of it. It was a very predictable movie, first of all, which isn't necessarily bad. A movie can be predictable but still enjoyable. We'll get to it. But we start with this dream, right? And it's nice. I'm just waiting for the nightmare part to turn, and it eventually happens here. And how it starts is like in the blink of an eye, all the monks and stuff around him are just burning in flames, and it's really dark visual and a nice use of shadows, and it's it's so good, and it sets a really dark tone for this movie, and it's amazing because this movie should be targeted towards late 20s to early 30-year-olds, the kids that grew up with the original show. That's who this movie should be focused on. And this opening basically promises that. And the tone kind of keeps going, but like I said, we'll get to it. After the dream, we find that Aang is alone with just Momo and Appa, and they're going home. And Aang gets ambushed inside one of the temples. It's a group of like 4 or 5 people, and they say their name is the Denied, which is a group of non-benders that think that benders are oppressing them. Uh, we've already done that. First of all, we've already done that with the Equalists and Korra, so we're kind of retreading ground here. But sure, I mean it is a good premise. It is. So we'll see what they do with it, right? But they end up beating Aang. They beat Aang in a fight, and instead of catching up and apprehending them, they get away. So they beat Aang in a fight, and they get away. What do they get away with? Inside a hollow statue of an Avatar Sonam, was a map apparently to this some location. I'm not entirely sure. Honestly, when you get to later in the movie, it makes zero sense that there's a map to this place. But again, we'll get to it. So after this, they use it as like a little springboard to do a recap of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And to be fair, it wasn't long. Well, it was. It was long, but it wasn't like a series recap. They basically just introduced the characters because they have new voices now. So before you even see them on the screen, so you don't get confused, you know that's the new gang's voice. Which the voice acting was, it was for the most part okay. If they had the original voice actors, it would have been, they wouldn't have this issue in the first place, and we'll get to it. But I'd say the worst of the gang was Katara, and the dialogue that they wrote was good. It reminded me of the interactions. It reminded me of the gang. Well, I'm pretty sure there were like sex jokes like halfway through the movie, and that was a little weird. That was a little jarring. I mean, they're adults now, so it makes sense, but it was still weird. But Katara, something about her performance just rubbed me the wrong way because like the inflection was all wrong. Like I tried to picture May saying the same lines, and the two just didn't line up at all. And I didn't have that problem for Sokka or Toph or even Zuko. Aang sounds great. Aang, I think, was the best recast. And also, Aang, it made the most sense to recast him because he was only like 13. He just started going through puberty, so his voice wasn't really changed yet. The rest of the cast, though, that didn't make any sense. They already went through puberty. Their voice was already set. And honestly, if you're going to do a movie about Aang and the gang, you had to bring back the original cast. You just had to, because otherwise, why didn't you just make a movie about another Avatar? Just make new characters. Why would you use the old characters to specifically piss off the fans? It doesn't make sense to me. But we get the recap, and after the recap, and they tell us the 100-Year War, which everybody should know if they're watching this movie. I don't know why they would jump in now. We see Republic City. It's already been built, kinda. Like, I'm sure it's mostly just the village that was already there when they changed the continent. But we see Katara addressing the city, and immediately I'm thinking, that's weird. Like, that's weird, right? Why isn't Sokka doing it? We see in Korra that Sokka's the councilman, and Katara didn't really take a role in like the leadership. At least what we saw in Korra. Like she actively stepped down, and I know they're still young, so they're still going to be active in like the political scenes and stuff. But they not once mentioned that Katara was like a member of the council or anything in Korra. So I don't know. It's weird, especially because Sokka isn't even in the city. He's in the South Pole, like teaching kids about engineering, and that's cool. It is, and it's helped rebuilding the South Pole. But that's not what we were promised already for his character. And I know there's time. He was like 50 in that fucking flashback, but I don't know, man. I don't understand why he's not there already. Zuko was off in the Fire Nation, living his best life as the Fire Lord. You know, he's just basic. There's nothing else to really say about Zuko. Basically, who he was is who we got, and that was fine. Toph was a cool one because we got to see her academy. We got to see her academy a little bit, but the big part is we saw the students, and from what I saw, a couple of them looked like the students from the graphic novel, the one where they go searching for Zuko's mother. So this movie could be retroactively making that canon, that entire storyline canon. So if that does become canon, I mean, I guess that's cool. It's not actually touched on in this movie at all. So like it's not confirmed, but it could be. Maybe they're just reusing the assets because they thought they looked cool or they liked the character designs, but they actually want to do that story themselves later. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so Aang does his like meditation thing and he goes to talk to his past lives. And this was the part that I was kind of mixed on because I didn't know how they were going to do it, but they did choose the better option. So what I didn't want from this movie was for them to choose a few random avatars and tell us their story. I didn't want to waste the time on it. It's basically like sequel bait. Like, oh, do you want this story or do you want this story? You want this one? It's like, no, I don't want any of them. If you're not gonna make the movie about them, I don't want any of them. Uh, so basically, he talks to Roku, and then we get like a slight montage of him scrolling through his past lives until eventually they know the name Sonam. And now the guy that he finally finds is pretty fucking annoying. I really don't like him, but he does point Avatar Aang to this mountaintop where it's the last place she was known. Apparently, she vanished there, and from the story we get later, that is confirmed, which makes me question why is there a map to this location of which we will get to. Why does this map exist? How does it exist when she vanished right there on the mountaintop? When did she have time to write it? Anyway. So Aang writes down four letters, and he sends one off to Sokka, one to Toph, and one to Zuko. And you might be thinking, what's the fourth letter? Who's he sending it to? He's sending it on the bedside table for Katara. Because he's going to leave her here. He's going to go climb this mountain by himself. Because his wife is right fucking there. But she'll catch up. You know, she doesn't need to go with me. Like, this is my alone time. Wait, I've got Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yu-Gi-Oh cards will work. Okay. Now we can do this. We can do this now. Alright, so. Here's the Yu-Gi-Oh card, right? So, if he has the thing at an angle like this, and then he has the platform like this, and he moves up with the mountain, that would cut the wind resistance, right? And he could just ride up to the top. This motherfucker climbs it. Just straight up climbs it. He just puffs rocks out and climbs up the motherfucker like a monkey. What are you doing? That was the most inefficient, grueling way possible you could have done that. And I swear, it was just done to like pad runtime. So, and gets to the top, right? And there's like this huge pile of snow just here, and it's kind of glowing blue-ish, like spirit energy. And so he clears it away with his bending, and behind it is this wall of ice and a silhouetted figure inside with this glowing blue light, right? What does Aang say? What does Aang say when he looks inside? Sonam? There are so many reasons why this is stupid, but let me just give you a couple. We've already established that when spiritually sealed in ice, the Avatar doesn't die. They basically hibernate into the future. We saw it with Aang. Aang looks at this figure and says, Sonam, thinking this is the fucking Avatar. First of all, if she were the Avatar and they knew where she vanished, they would have taken her body. Technically, if it's spirit ice and they don't have the power to, they would have at least told people about it. This would have been like a large tale. This wouldn't be something secret that Aang's just now figuring out. Especially because she's an airbender. Dude, that would have been a story passed down forever. Second of all, if it was Sonam and she'd be alive, because that's how it works, we've already established that's how this works in the universe, Aang wouldn't be here. Roku wouldn't be here. Like 5,000 avatars wouldn't be here because she'd be right here, frozen, in place, waiting to be reanimated by being unlocked. So it makes no sense in the universe for this to be Sonam. And Aang, without even thinking, without a further thought, he releases the ice. And obvious prison is obvious prison. Like, come on, dude. What are you doing? You are like early 20s right now, and you're acting like a 12-year-old. Still, he's still acting like a 12-year-old. Yeah, that actually explains a lot of this movie. Holy shit. So when Aang takes down the spirit ice and he rushes into the figure who fell to the ground, the fucking mountain like implodes on itself. It just starts collapsing, trying to kill the prisoner because he was able to escape. And Aang luckily was there to save him, right? How does Aang lose to a mountain? A real question. How the fuck did Aang lose a fight to a mountain? Because that's what happened. It got all the way down to the very end, and this large column of rock was coming to smash both him and Taga. And then Taga woke up and saved him, revealing that he has airbending as well. And don't think this is Taga being a nice guy saving Aang. Really, he saved himself, but Aang was also there, so he took him too. And that's when the entire gang catches up all at once on Zuko's airship. Wait, was it the airship or was it Appa? Hold on. No. Aang would have been on Appa. So yeah, they catch up in the fire ship. They all made it at the same time. Did Zuko like swing around and pick everybody up? Or did they like coordinate a point? Well, I guess to be fair, we don't know what was in the letter specifically, so Aang could have told them all to meet at a specific point and have Zuko catch up with them. So I guess that is possible, so I can give that a little bit of a slide. But it's still weird that they were on 3 different corners of the globe. Actually 4, because they also had to pick up Katara. So they were all in different places of the world, and they all showed up at the same time. And the weirdest part is, Aang, why did you not take your wife with you? Because maybe, if you had someone there to advise you to be a little cautious, you wouldn't have released a prisoner out of an ice wall. Maybe she would have been there to say, hey, stupid, if that's Sonam, you wouldn't exist. So basically, it's just a plot convenience, which isn't bad per se, because the Pixar story rule is a convenience that gets characters into trouble is good, a convenience that gets them out of trouble is bad. So, okay, we can see where it goes from here, right? So, dude passes out, and when he wakes up later, the gang has him in a tent. They're on the ground now. And when he looks over them, Toph is just bending some pebbles in her hand. And he looks at her, and he kind of freaks out for a second. Because, I'll just say it. In his time, he was facing a uprising of earthbenders. Earthbenders that killed a bunch of airbenders because the airbenders tried stopping them and yada, 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 yada. Anyway, so earthbenders are like this guy's mortal enemy. And he doesn't do anything. He sees the earthbender, he freaks out a little bit, he calms himself, and then he doesn't act on it at all through the entire movie. And it's okay, I guess. But I feel like that would have been the perfect opportunity for him to like attack Toph, do some serious damage. Taga's being manipulative. Sure. We'll talk about Taga later. We'll talk. So Taga confirms the story that the Avatar who pointed Aang in the direction of the mountain, saying, yes, the staff works exactly as advertised. It does create airbenders, and that's how Taga got his airbending. That's why his tattoos are different, because it's like from the ritual or whatever. Okay, first of all, This staff cannot exist. So you know immediately, as soon as it's confirmed how the powers work, that it's being destroyed by the end of it. It's like that in like every fucking anime movie, and it's so annoying. Like Yu-Gi-Oh the movie had it where with the Pyramid of Light. Fucking Black Clover had it with that sword thing that was just super OP. Like it's just so common. My Hero Academia had it with the fucking booster thing or whatever the fuck he had that broke magically on the final use and all that good shit, you know? And he never got another one. Adding these kind of items into your movie might sound cool. It might give that oh shit second, but as soon as you know what this is, you know it can't exist in the world. You can't have this staff exist because if it still exists at the end of this movie and say it's just lost somewhere, say it's lost in the spirit world, it's lost somewhere on a remote island, somewhere like 50 feet on the ground, Aang will dedicate his entire fucking life to finding that staff because it is the key to bringing back his airbenders. So it can't exist. It just can't exist. So you know immediately that it's going to be broken. And I also called the consequence of breaking it immediately being everybody who had the airbending now loses it. Like, you had to have the staff intact, giving them the bending constantly for them to keep it. And that did happen. But we'll get to it. There's something else, but we'll get to it. So Taga manipulates and kind of bonds with Aang a little bit to gain his trust, and he teaches Aang like how to read wind currents, which I would have expected he'd already know how to do. Like, he came from entire fucking it doesn't matter. I would assume he'd already know how to do that, but it's cool. Taga does show a new technique that we haven't seen in the show before called tethering. I like the technique. I do. But I don't like the execution of it. And specifically, I don't like that the gang's watching from the cockpit of the airship as they're out tethering each other around. And I think it was Zuko specifically that said, it's like they're flying. But we've already done airbenders flying. Again, another Korra villain, by the way. So, Korra gets so much hate. And it's going to be interesting when this movie, like, has a bunch of reviews and stuff in. Because I liked Korra. I did. But they use elements from all four of Korra's villains. And I'll explain it a little better later. But it kind of annoyed me. Like, a lot. Because we're just retreading a lot of old ground here. And some of it didn't make any sense. But again, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. So this tethering technique, it's basically airbenders just passing the same bit of air around, and it just gains more power as it keeps going. It's kind of like what is it, Berlini's principle or whatever, when you're holding up like a bag or something, and you use the fan to just blow all the air into it. You're also grabbing the air around it, pushing it forward too. That's basically the same thing that they're doing. Would you believe that it comes back in the finale? So Taga just kind of knows where this location is to where the denied are gonna be going to. He knows the location on the map where it leads to. I guess I'm still not entirely sure what the fuck's going on with this. But the denied, after having like a week's head start, they finally catch up to the gang as they're about to enter this area. Yeah, I said that correctly. They caught up to the gang with a week's head start. Shouldn't they already be up to like fucking there? Just it's a bad writing. It's bad writing in this movie all around. So they catch up. They have like 3 ships with them, and they harpoon into the Fire Lord's airship. Zuko, by the way, didn't bring any crew to maintain this thing. He's just flying it all by himself, which will come up later. So the Denied are trying to use these harpoons to just rip apart the airship and have them all drop to their death into the ocean, right? Taga comes out, he goes onto the bridge, and he uses the tethering technique to wrap air around all of their ships and start crushing them. And that's when Aang comes in and tells them to stop. Because, you know, they were just gonna kill you. There's no reason to retaliate. Anyway, the Denied realize that they're outmatched. Fucking obviously. You just try taking on, not only do you know that's the Avatar, but you try taking on the entire Avatar gang. And literally one guy that's not even a part of the gang stepped out and you're already running. What the fuck was your plan? Why didn't you just follow in the background until we got to the area? Whatever, whatever. So the Denied end up backing off and they go to repair their ships or whatever. I don't know. They're in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where they're gonna go to repair their ships. If they're just gonna fucking hover there or whatever, I'm not entirely sure. But the gang just trudge on through, and eventually they enter what I could only assume to call is like a spirit storm. There's like tornadoes and cyclones and hurricanes, just kind of like everywhere. And Aang and Taga just launch out into it. They don't even give the gang a chance to say their piece about it, say if they want to leave or not. Which spoilers, they do want to leave. They didn't want to keep going. But Aang and Taga go forward, and they use this tethering technique to dispel the twisters and stuff. I mean, it's kind of cool, but I don't know. They didn't do enough, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of a cool area, but you know the gang's not gonna die here. We have another like hour of movie left. They're not dying here. The ship does get struck by lightning though, and it causes severe damage. Toph has to go close a hole with the metal. Katara has to go on the outside and like bend up the ocean. They dip that low. Fucking Sokka, honestly, he had the easy job. He just had to stay on the fucking brig, and when Zuko said go, he just pulled the lever to go back up. All around that scene, that part of the scene was really good. But I can't help but think, what is Aang thinking? He's seeing his friends about to die, and he's not even helping them. He just keeps going to take on the Twisters, and it's like, at some point, you would expect Aang to be like, this is not worth it. We're turning back. Especially because if the Aang gang cannot make it through this, hold on. But especially because at what point are you just like, if the gang can't get through this, what shot do these non-benders, the Denied, have? Absolutely zero. Their ships are going to be fucking ripped apart in this shit. Spoilers, they make it through. So eventually, after they're able to regain altitude and they're able to just trudge through enough, they come to this like giant cloud-like dome, and it's seemingly impenetrable, honestly. But Kaga knows the way in apparently, so he grabs Aang and he's like, "Let's tether this air around. We're gonna keep blasting it back and forth until it's super powerful." And then they launch it at the dome. And to be fair, it does dispel away the clouds for a time. It allows the airship to just kind of glide through. So I mean, they do make it in. And where they get into is kind of a cool area, but I also don't like it because the entire this place is an island, right? And it's made up of three dead lion turtles. At least three that I could see. Maybe there's more, maybe there's not, I don't know. But the place just doesn't seem big enough for these to be lion turtles. And yeah, they're dead and they decayed, yada yada yada. But like all the foliage and stuff is still there. Like, and apparently the place is just brimming with spiritual energy. Sure, yeah, sure. I can give you that. Yeah. Once they get inside this area, the gang kind of confront Aang a little bit. It's like, yo, what are you doing? We didn't get a say in that, and you almost got us killed. And Aang's like, yeah, but we kind of have to. And everybody just kind of shrugs it off. And I kid you not, immediately once they get here, Aang goes off by himself on Appa to find the staff. Taga goes off by himself to do fuck all. Zuko's the only one actively trying to repair the damage that was done to the airship so they could leave. And Katara, Sokka, and Toph are just fucking lackadaisy, chilling out until Katara gets the bright idea, hey, where'd Taga go? And then she goes to find him. Now Aang finds the staff, I kid you not, in like 2 fucking minutes. Like, he gets an immediate spirit vision that takes him to the temple where the staff is being held. And then as soon as he gets there, I mean, it's kind of obvious what he has to do. He has to bend the 4 elements to unlock it. But he just finds it immediately. And I mean, I can't really fault him for it. It's not like anybody else could have gotten here, except for like an avatar or something. At least an airbender to dispel those clouds. But while Aang's doing this, Katara catches up with Taga and confronts him about where he's going. What is he really doing? And is this the best time to do that while you're alone? Anyway. we get a dialogue between him and Katara about making sacrifices, and it keeps cutting back and forth between them and Aang. And I'm just thinking in my head the entire time. This is the one thing I actually got wrong. I'm thinking, Aang, what the fuck are you standing on? Get off of that. Because I'm thinking it's about to like try to sacrifice him for the staff. It's gonna be like a life for the magic power, and obviously it's not. It just like opens up and gives the staff, and it's all good. But in this time that Aang's doing this, Taga attacks Katara, and the rest of the gang also kind of show up to also fight against Taga, minus Aang. Aang's still doing the staff stuff. In the middle of this fight, right? Taga does this kind of move to gather up air around his two fingers, and the way he does it, I swear to God, it looks like Piccolo's special beam cannon. But the worst part is when he fires it off, we don't see it hit anything. It just cuts away from him to Aang grabbing the staff because he finally has it. And then behind Aang is Taga. He's like, brother, you've done it. You have the staff. We can bring back the airbenders now. And I'm just thinking, oh, so he grabbed the staff and it's giving him a vision. It's going to show Taga's true intentions here. Because Taga's not fighting the gang. Nope. Nope. We didn't see Taga beat the gang. No. It actually cut away from that. Just when the fight would have gotten good. When you need Taga to win, but you can't let Taga kill your heroes. So they just cut away. It's not important. They just cut away. He shows up. He grabs the staff away from Aang. Aang just entirely smiles the entire fucking way. And then Taga starts telling him about how he had to kill his friend so that he could let go of his earthly tethers and shit. He didn't really say earthly tethers, but I mean, it's basically the same idea. Legend of Korra, Season 3, all that jazz. They're still doing it. And then he divulges the rest of his backstory to Aang. Because Sonam was making airbenders, and there were just so many of them. They were like controlling the world. They were basically in Korra, when the airbenders became like the world police, that's basically what Sonam was doing thousands of years ago. Because everything in this movie is just from Legend of Korra, just repackaged with the gang. That's basically what this movie is. It's just Legend of Korra light. But he divulges more of his backstory, and basically Sonam made an army of airbenders, like a small army of airbenders, to go after this earthbender rising in the Earth Kingdom. They kind of like snuff him out, kind of like peace deal him down, and the earthbenders killed them all. Like wholesale slaughtered everybody except for Taga. And that's why Taga freaked out at the earthbender earlier. But that's my question. If he was in constant war with fucking earthbenders, and he doesn't know that he's just been transported thousands of years into the future, and he sees an earthbender right there, wouldn't he assume that he's a prisoner? Wouldn't he assume that's an enemy? Wouldn't he assume he should attack before he dies? It's just bad writing. It's bad writing all over this fucking movie, dude. I think it's been long enough. I had this. So, this is my Yu-Gi-Oh mat. It's just a rubber mat you can use for all kinds of card games and stuff. But I use it for Yu-Gi-Oh! And I bought this almost 10 years ago when I got back into the game. So I'm a fan of Avatar. Like it's not like I'm some 45-year-old that was watching it as a late teenager and bought that mat when Avatar was still around. No, I remembered Avatar. Avatar stuck with me, and when I got back into a game that I like, I picked Avatar specifically to play my cards on. Like I'm a big fan of this franchise. And this movie fucking sucks. So Taga takes down the gang. We don't get to see it. They just cut away. It's like an entire scene is missing. He shows up to Aang, gives him his backstory. Right. Backstory. So his airbenders get killed, and Taga goes back to Sonam, and he's like, I need a bigger army. I need to be able to crush these earthbenders because they just killed so many of us. And Sonam's like, nah, you know what? Maybe we overstepped. I'm not going to do that anymore. And Taga goes fucking ballistic. He's like, what? You just sent me basically to die? I survived, and now we can't go take retribution? What are you talking about right now? And he steals the staff, and he does like this spirit power fusion into his body to give him like a bunch of power, and he doesn't reach kaiju levels, but think about it in like D&D, right? If you're like a human and you get the enlarge spell cast on you, that's basically what happened, except he also got buffer and got like this blue aura around him. So basically Unalaq from season 2 of Korra. So we've touched on non-benders being oppressed by benders, the Equalists. We have touched on airbenders flying, Zahir. We have touched on Unalaq, fucking spirit fusions. And we touched on an earthbender uprising, fucking Kuvira, season 4. Like I said, this is Legend of Korra Light. Oh, right, I almost forgot. Then Aang fights Taga and loses. Because this is like the third fight Aang's been in. And in every single fight, he's lost. In fact, every single fight, the entire gang has lost in this movie. Yay! Avatar, guys! Where our master benders, fucking the best earthbender in the world, one of the best waterbenders in the world, the fucking Fire Lord, the fucking Avatar, all of them fucking lose. Every single fight. Avatar The Last Airbender, everybody! That's the movie you wanted, right? You have to support them or they won't make more. I fucking hope they don't make more. I hope they don't make more of this shit. This was terrible. Oh! The review's not over. We still have more to do, but I just got really mad. Alright, there's another thing. Oh, there's another thing that makes me mad, too. After Taga beats Aang, he doesn't kill Aang. He doesn't kill any of the gang. But he beats Aang, and then he looks over to Appa, who's basically cowering. He's not helping in any way. And he says, I miss my air bison. And then the next thing we see is him riding off on Appa. Like, why is Appa listening to this guy? Oh. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Well, the staff probably gives him powers to, like, control the minds of, like, airbenders, and Appa's one of the original airbenders because he's the bison. No. No, that doesn't actually happen. Because we see later in the movie, an airbender that had speaking lines earlier, one of the Denine who had speaking lines earlier, who was turned into an airbender, they were saving civilians. They were helping the gang. So, no, there was no kind of, like, mind manipulation here. Appa just went with him. Alright, so... Oh, I forgot to mention, when Taga attacked the gang, he did destroy their airship. So, technically speaking, they do not have a way off of this island, and they're stuck within the Cloud Dome. So, you might be thinking, well, how do they get out? And I could give you fucking 100 years. I could give you 100 years to guess, and you wouldn't guess it. Aang, because this is a very spiritual place, he summons the ocean spirit. I'll say that again. He summons the ocean spirit. You know, the spirit that traded his spiritual powers and form for this koi fish body. He summons that. Except he doesn't have a koi fish body. No. He shows up as the water kaiju. How? How exactly did that work? Like, if you would have summoned Yue and she helped you bust through or something, would have made complete sense to me. I wouldn't have a single complaint. You summoned the thing that's supposed to be a fish still? Hello? What are we doing? And now you may be thinking, oh, okay, so they're going to ride the fish out and we're going to see what happens from there. No. No, the fish opens its mouth and they fucking jump through it. It's a portal to the spirit world. Yep. There's just random portals to the spirit world and the spirits' mouths now. And yeah, I know technically spirits like Wang Xingtong and stuff have the ability to like transport buildings and stuff into the spirit world. There's the panda guy that I'm Heibai that could take villagers into the spirit world. Yeah, I get all that. I get that. But this was so fucking random. Like, actually so fucking random. It kind of... Especially after the gang just had their ass beat. It kind of pissed me off. Like, really. And that's not even the worst part. That is not the worst part. Because after they jump into the spirit world, the entire gang gets, like, shifted around in this weird fucking way Like Momo's just this fucking head with a tail, and I mean, yeah, that's kind of cute. It's kind of funny. I could go for that. He kind of looks like a Puffle. But then Zuko and Katara are like old, like elderly old, and the spirit that shows up like makes a joke about them being a couple, and Aang gets jealous. Like he's fucking 12-year-old still, because he's still 12 in this movie. He's just in an adult body. Speaking of adult bodies, though, they're actually not in their adult bodies, because Aang goes back to his 12-year-old form. Sokka goes back to his like 15-year-old form. Basically, their original designs from Atla. And Toph turns into like a 2-year-old wearing a fucking diaper and everything. This entire scene just screamed like, this is the little kid bait. You just had serious dark themes, and now they want to make it a little lighthearted for the kids. Like, yeah, that got really dark, but you can laugh now, and it's just not funny. Especially the gang just lost wholesale to this guy, and he didn't kill them, which makes no sense because he comes from a time of war, and he would have definitely killed them, especially Toph. Toph would have been fucking executed. If the entire gang went down, he was for sure killing the Earthbender. Like, that doesn't even make sense anymore. But the spirit that shows up, he's so fucking annoying. This movie, they basically tried to split it down the middle. They were like, do we make it for the fans who are now old, or do we make it for kids and let them enjoy it too? And they tried to like roll the ball down the middle, and they got the 7-10 split. And you're not going to recover from that. Anyway, how they get out is stupid, so I'm not even going to go over it. They arrive in Republic City. They're actually on the temple overlooking the city, because that's what Taga's doing, and that's where they jumped out at. So basically, Taga just wants to bring this temple down and smash it into Republic City, and this is going to be like his new base of operations. And who's there with them? The Denied, because their airships. Oh right, I didn't bring this up. When Taga left on Appa and he went through the dome, right outside the dome were the airships of the Denied. And he just lands on that shit. No fear of their weapons or anything at all. And he's basically like, I am the captain now. Here's some bending. We're going to go kill some people. And they're all like, fuck yeah, let's go. Anyway. So that's what Taga did. And now they're all at Republic City. Because you could span the entire globe in this show in the matter of half an hour. So the fight begins. The siege begins, where the gang comes and jumps in, and as they're about to start, Katara offers herself for crowd control. Now I haven't said this yet, because I think it's another thing that's just super fucking stupid. But when Taga took the staff, in the flashback, when Taga took the staff from Sonam, and Sonam was fighting him, she relayed to Aang that he was too powerful to kill. Too powerful to kill. Remember that. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm a little all over the place. I kind of went on a little rage there, and I just forgot to mention. When Aang went down for the count, when Taga beat Aang, he dipped down into this near-death state, and he was able to contact Avatar Sonam. And she gave him the lowdown of what happened on the mountaintop, about how Taga was too powerful to kill, how she locked him there in the ice, and then because she was mortally wounded from the battle, she like sent her staff away to the spirit, or she like sealed her staff and her temple away in like the spirit world or whatever the fuck. I think that's what it was. Her temple was on top of the island, or was on top of the mountain, and she sent that to the spirit world. But she also disappeared there, and I'm not sure how the staff got to this island of lion turtles, but her temple is in spirit world. But she also vanished on the mountaintop. I'm not entirely sure how all that connects. I don't think it does. If you guys can explain it, by all means, put it in the comments. Right. So siege of the city begins. Katara says she's gonna do crowd control. She's gonna go save civilians, because in this battle that's gonna determine the entire fucking world, that's what I want the Master Waterbender to be doing. I want her to go save civilians instead of attacking the bad guys. Yeah, good call, guys. It's like Sokka's right there. Sokka doesn't have bending. Yeah, he can fight, but he already got trounced by Taga. he can do the crowd control. He can go save civilians. I just think it was stupid. I think a lot of the decisions in this movie were very stupid. They weren't thought through. Like I said earlier, that denied member, the one that starts saving civilians, basically her backstory was her village got destroyed by benders, burnt to the ground, and her parents were killed, I think. And when she's looking at the damage that now she's doing with her bending across Republic City and saying that she's now burning the place down, she's now responsible for casualties, she starts to think of herself as the bad guy, which, fair play, she is a bad guy in this movie. Uh, but she ends up changing sides right there, right then. Starts helping the heroes and starts saving civilians. And and that's the point where it's like, okay, so the staff gave you the bending, but it didn't alter your mind. So Appa willingly went with Taga. Oh, I'm going over old ground. Moving on. So the gang are fending off the airbenders. They're also saving civilians, and that's what they're doing through this conflict. And Aang goes to challenge Taga again. Could you believe that Aang loses again? Well, you shouldn't, because he doesn't. No, he gets his ass kicked for like 90% of the fight. And then at the very last moment, when Taga charges up his special beam cannon again, and this time it's fucking purple, so I know they're directly ripping off the Dragon Ball Z here. This is a special beam cannon. He charges it up, and Aang uses the tethering technique to redirect that blast into Taga. Well, he doesn't really blast it into Taga. What he more does is he uses the redirection of it to like gain speed to get close to him, and then he rips the staff out of Taga's hands. I mean, a little bit of the air did blast into Taga, but it didn't like do damage to him. And then Aang, with the staff, uses its power to like pull spiritual energy into him, like Taga did to himself, giving him this like blue glow. He like got a little buffer, a little taller, and he starts winning the fight finally. And he's basically winning the fight now because we're running out of runtime, and he has to end the movie. Otherwise, this is gonna have to go into a part two. And we all know they don't want to do that. This movie was bad enough. We know they don't want to do that, and I'll explain exactly why they didn't want to. Aang starts battering around Taga, and he's about to do a killing blow to him, and his like inner monk starts taking over, and he's like, "No, I can't kill him." And what does he do? He raises the staff above his hands and snaps it. And technically, it doesn't just snap; it goes off into like shards and stuff. All the power given by the staff, with its destruction, starts to fade away. It leaves the people. Everybody who was turned into airbenders no longer have bending. The glow fades from their eyes. Aang, who had gathered a bunch of spirit energy from it, he loses that spirit energy. And Taga, for some reason, gets Thanos snapped into blue mist. What? So, I'm trying to understand this. I really am. I'm trying to understand why he got the blue mist treatment, but nobody else did. Because I could understand the denied only got airbending, and Taga only had airbending. But I don't think Taga had glowing eyes, which is weird. I think that was an oversight. I think he was supposed to have glowing eyes. The only thing I can assume is because he also took the spiritual power into himself. That's why he got Thanos snapped. But so did Aang. Aang also took that power into him. And I guess technically, I think technically, Sonam, when she told Aang about the absorption, it said that it corrupted Taga. So maybe that's the defining feature. But I can only give you a technicality on that. Because by all means, take away the spirit power, take away the bending. But he just vanishes? That is so fucking lazy. And I know, the alternative is you throw him in a prison. But then he has a chance to come back. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, yeah. The ending of the movie is the forming of the Air Acolytes, Airbender Island in Republic City, or Air Temple Island, rather. Right. They also they found a herd of bison. There's like 50 bison out here in the field, and they found them. Which, I don't know if that's a plot hole or not. Because I remember in Korra season 2, Korra season 2, after Korra had her memory taken, and she washed up on that island, and the fire lady there helped her restore her connection to Rava and everything. Uh, her memories and all that. She did have bison there, and they did say that they've been herding them here since the Hundred-Year War. But why wouldn't she already know about the bison if Aang and the gang knew about the bison? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Why is it a reveal in Korra that the bison are still around? If Korra should already know the bison are still around. This movie was so bad, and I can tell you the exact reason why. It's because they did not have faith in the story they were telling. They didn't know who they were making this movie for, and they tried making three different movies. They did. They tried making a movie about the Denied. They tried making a movie about Avatar Sonam and the earthbending uprising from thousands of years ago. And they tried making a movie about this guy who also has airbending, an airbending enemy who's able to give airbending to other people and formed an army. Those are three different movie concepts, and they tried mashing them all together in one, and it failed miserably. I'm fucking disappointed on levels that I can't even express in words. Because why are you telling us the backstory of an Avatar? They cut to the backstory of Avatar Sonam like 4 times in this movie. Why didn't you just make an Avatar Sonam movie? And in fact, if you made the Avatar Sonam movie, all the problems of you not wanting to get the original voice cast. How many times? How many times do I need to Thanos snap? They're fucking gone. They're gone immediately. Like, and like I said earlier, Korra gets so much hate just as the show itself, just because it's not the gang. And I'm gonna find it very interesting how the reviews come in about this, because all the villains in this, including the flashback, basically recycled all the plot points from Korra. Oh, technically they didn't have a Team Avatar, which is like the main core of season 3 for Korra, but why did they have to add in the airbenders are flying thing? It was a direct reference to Zahir. It was. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Do I think you should pay to see this movie? No. No. This movie fucking sucks. And here's the thing, right? Paramount released the movie Sonic. I want to say it was like 6 years ago at this point. But they released Sonic. And the original trailer for that had this abomination of a Sonic, right? And everybody, the entire internet was up in arms about it. But the entire internet also learned about the Sonic movie. And when they ran crowd control, they're like, don't worry, we'll fix it. And they re-released the trailer with the fixed Sonic. Everybody was happy about it. And then Sonic made fucking billions of dollars. Yeah, Sonic made $1 billion globally. So it's possible. I'm just saying, it is possible that this leak was intentional. That they wanted to kind of like. I said this in a video on another YouTuber's channel somewhere on my personal, I think. But this could have been like a large test screening just to see where everyone's heads were at. And they're going to be like, but we actually have the real version. Like, that's the fake version. That's like a really early production version. Our movie is basically nothing close to that now. That's possible. Is it likely? No. But I am huffing the copium a lot here. I want to believe that there is a cut somewhere where they use the original voice actors for the characters. I want to believe that this is a publicity stunt so that it'll garner a bunch of hate. It'll get a bunch of eyes on it. And then when they do release the actual movie, everyone will be like, wow, that's so much better. I can't believe it. It's night and day. I love this movie. I hope that's what this is. But it's not likely. And if I'm being honest with all of you, I don't think it's the case. I want it to be, but I don't think it is. Yeah, it just wasn't good. That's my final like synopsis for it. It's just not a good movie. And this movie, when did Korra end? Korra ended, I wanted to say in like 2014, 2013, like 2013, 2014 era. This movie potentially is their comeback. It's been a decade. It's not a good comeback. It's not. If this is gonna be, you see, the thing is, the thing is, I expected Avatar to go dark. And my friends know this too. I wanted Pokemon to go dark, but since after Gen 5, they've gone more kid style. I don't want that to happen to Avatar. The beginning of this movie, where it turns into a nightmare and we see the monks around him in silhouettes and stuff just burning to a crisp, that was fucking dark. I loved that. Uh, but there were so many elements in this where it was so clearly kid focused that I don't know if this is going to be a franchise for me to continue watching. Because the animation was great. The fight choreography, for the most part, was pretty good. I still liked those concepts about the show, but if they're not going to grow with the audience and they're going to keep being for kids, they might as well just release a fucking CGI chibi show or something and actually just go for kids. Because I'm not going to talk about this with my friends. They're going to be like, hey, did you see the Avatar movie leaked? I'm going to be like, yeah, I saw it. It's not very good. And the conversation is going to end right there because there's nothing to talk about. All right, that's all I got. If you guys enjoyed the content, this isn't something that I usually do, but I might do more of it. Leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.